Hi, everyone. Welcome to Sunday Funday. It's been a great weekend. Well, I've been Ubering all the time, but I've seen a lot of parades and a lot of drunk people and a lot of uh, thunder and storms. I mean, it's been absolutely crazy. Our trees in the road. So happy Sunday Funday. So our guest today is Jerry Butler from Butler Family Farm. Jerry has 116 acres. Yes, 116 acres. And well, this live is going to be about fertilizer. Fertilizer A to Z on everything you should do. So it's going to be a lot learning lesson. Jerry was a transplant from San Diego, California, the place with perfect weather where you don't need windshield wipers. And then he lives in Missouri now. And I can't even imagine living in 116 acres. All that work has to be amazing. They have a cattle of goats, several donkeys, horses, llamas. They got 5 dogs, 3 cats. And they got a lot of stuff going on. So we're going to welcome in Jerry Butler from Butler Family Farm.
Hello.
Welcome in, Jerry.
Hey, how are you today?
Doing good. So happy to have you here. So this is going to be a great live because you're the man of fertilizer. You went to school for fertilizer. Tell everybody a little bit.
Well, I went to school for agriculture.
Agriculture.
I took every agriculture class that I had except for waste management, and then I went to work for it's called MFA here in Missouri, which means Made for Agriculture, and I went there as a soil specialist to do spread fertilizer on people's properties. So mostly it was all commercial grade.
Okay. Well, we're going to learn a lot about that. Let's see who's in the chat right now. So just to let you guys know, we had this welcome message before we came to the live today. And I just showed up. So, Joe, you're going to retire from YouTube after today. So this is indeed your final stream for now. You're no longer on YouTube after today. So, as you guys can see, some people are kind of after me and after some other people I know, and that's a shame. And if I keep everything to myself, so if you guys could kind of figure it out, then you guys will figure out who's doing this to me. So it's a shame that people do this. It's a shame that they're all for themselves and don't care about you, because after all, that's what they are all for, themselves. But they tell everybody in their chats that, well, they're all about everybody. Well, yeah, that's pretty sad. So let's see who's in the chat. We got Kimberly, my Renaissance grandma, Kimberly Gaia, Teresa Jukowitz. And if I pronounce anybody's name, I'm sorry. We got Wanda Moses, 2%. Lathias Little Hook, Juliana, it's Juby, 2407. Me and My Shadow, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's Purple T-Bear. David Gray's here. Foxit Outdoors, I love Cliff. Cliff's an amazing rower. Amazing supporter. He actually wanted to fly to my house, put a fence up, help me put a fence up, Jerry. Isn't that amazing? Come across the country, and he goes, if it worked out, I want to fly across. I want to help you. That's what's great about this community and the connections you make. People really want to help out. There's Angela Wright, Canadian Proud Get Outdoors, My Alabama Farm Life. It's weird, Jerry. Every time I say Alabama, I want to talk like in a different accent. My Alabama. I'm like, come on. I can't say it in a Jersey accent. Happy Max here, Garden State so-and-so. There's already 46 people in the chat.
Wow.
Thank you guys for all coming. Simply Jan's here. Denise Smith. I'm Bias. LC is here. Wickershire Project. Tammy M. Hook Rod in Hand. Don't you know is here. Oodles and Canoodles Crafts. Gail Southern Living. Built on a Rock Homestead. Grape Jams. And a whole bunch of other people coming in. So welcome in, everybody.
Great people coming in here.
Thank you guys all for coming. We got some good stuff. 54 colleges came in. I still have to find my t-shirts where they're somewhere in my garage, but I can't find them. But I have two medium Garden State Gardener t-shirts. They're only medium. I'm selling them for 15. Today we're also going to give away some books, um, adoptions. That's what that's, which is pretty cool. Um, Mindful cooking. It's always good to have cooking books around. An autoimmune cookbook. So there's a lot of autoimmune issues all over the place today. I'm also found this thing. This is a little book of stickers, forest and fungi stickers, which is pretty cool. So I don't know. Give out these in the back of envelopes when you win. Something different.
Gail came in also.
Welcome in, Gail. Welcome in. Welcome in, Bill. Good to see you. Rick Thalian is here from Australia. Welcome, Rick. You got our treasured home. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Jane Doe. There's a lot of people in here. And if I miss you guys saying hello, I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm going to be concentrating on the talking part. So don't take it as I'm ignoring you. I'm just, trying to have to concentrate on what I'm going to talk about here.
So, as you know, Grow Big TV. I mean, we had some of the best guests in the world, not just made for YouTube, but that do speeches all over the world, which has been an absolutely I can't even describe how they came to my channel. I'm like, you're going to come to my channel? Oh, whoop, whoop. And we got some more amazing interviews on Grow Big TV that's going to come up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And they all start at 8 o'clock, just to let you guys know. And a lot of stuff has to do about the soil. And I have never been about just the soil. I've always been about feed the plant, not the soil, instead of feed the soil, not the plant. So this is great that Jerry's coming on about the fertilizer, because my main component is having people grow their own food. Who wants store-bought food? It's terrible. It stinks. Who buys a tomato in the store anymore? It's junk. It's terrible. So for me, it's all about helping people grow their own food, growing herbs right outside your door, inside your house. So every single avenue, that's what I'm about. But Grow Big TV will be more about the soil. And so, Jerry, we're going to ask a couple questions right off the bat.
Okay.
And so let me see. Let me get my questions here. Okay. Why do plants need fertilizer?
Well, it's the minerals in the building blocks of the plant. The plant, if we didn't have any minerals and fertilizer in the ground, we'd have a barren wasteland. It would just be like a desert. There'd be nothing growing at all. The plant itself is made of potash, so it's potassium. And so you have to have a potassium in the ground for the plant in order to grow, or have the building blocks to grow from. And when we get into that part, we'll get into that a little more. So
we're going to ask questions. Jerry's going to answer, but there's going to be more elaborated when we go through this whole agenda of fertilizer. It's fertilizer 24. It's like 24/7 today in my mind right now. So to me,
and be honest with you, I probably got to forget a lot more. I probably forgot a lot more than I used to know that I haven't used. So I may mess up something here or there type thing, but the main gist of this is what people want to grow stuff, and they're saying there's misunderstanding of fertilizer you should use or not use in order for things to grow right.
So that adds me to a question. Well, how do you know if you need fertilizer?
Well, I don't recommend anybody adding fertilizer without having soil samples. I am a navigator or a specialist about. I think if you're going to grow something, you need to have a ground or soils that you know there's nutrients in there, and you should do a sample to be sure that what you're using is going to grow what you want to grow. I know people grow flowers and stuff, and some flowers like more acid in their soil. They need more alkaline. Well, if you don't have a test, or like Jan bought a test that she used at home, and she's still learning how to use it right. But if you're not really sure, then you should use your USDA extension or your extension office and find out, get a soil sample and have it done. Matter of fact, right here in the state of Missouri right now, this month, I guess it is, or it goes through August 31st. If you get a soil sample done, it's $23 to have one done. But if you take 4 or more, they have a special. You get them done for 18, which I think is kind of funny from the government. But you can get a special done and have 4 or more done for $18 a piece. So I can only talk about what I've done and what I use. I'm not telling people what you should do. I'm just saying you should, do some research and find out, but USDA, I'm sorry, the extension office, your college extension office in Missouri, there's one. I don't know if each state has them or not. You could contact your conservation. You can contact the USDA and find out where you need to take soil samples also. And one of those two should tell you where you need to take soil samples.
Yeah, I know Rutgers has their range from $20 to like $200, and
yeah,
it matters how thorough you want to get in each.
Yeah, how much in depth you want to get into.
And for those that have compost, try to do the same thing in there. Try to get to see what.
Find out what just the compost has, because you may think it's something and it's going to be something else.
Because not all compost is created equal. That's for sure.
That's right.
So what type of fertilizers are there?
Okay, you have your, what I'm going to call organic fertilizers, which are from your animals, your rabbits, your llamas, your donkeys, your horses, and your cattle. And then you have chicken fertilizer or chicken manure. It's actually manure. It's the droppings of the animals, and that's also a fertilizer. But chicken fertilizer is a very hot fertilizer, so you need to be very, very careful on how much you use of that, or have it tested to see how hot it is. And they recommend you take chicken fertilizer and leave it sit for like a year or so before you use it especially on vegetables, because it can be hot enough that it will burn your plants and kill them. So, and when I say hot, I mean high in nitrogen content, which is what they're mostly going to have in your chicken manure fertilizers. There's a lot of there's 3 types of fertilizers basically, and I'm just going to hit those right now. There's your nitrogen, there's your phosphate, and there's your potash. And the way I explain it to people is that, think of a motor engine in your car. Your nitrogen is your gasoline. It makes the car go. I'm sorry, I messed that up. Your potash is your gasoline. It makes the car go. And your phosphate is oil. It lubricates everything, so it makes everything run smoothly. And then your nitrogen is your octane. You put a high octane boost in your car, it's going to make it run faster and hotter. So if you think about that as your motor is your plant basically is potash. If you take a board or a plant or anything that's been green and you burn it, what you have left over is ash, but it's actually potash. And if you have a fireplace and you take and burn wood in the fireplace and you take those ashes out, you can sprinkle those on your garden, and that will help your plants because it's a potash. It will feed your plants. So if you think about it as that way is of a motor, then a lot of people who don't understand the real details in the fertilizer, you can understand at least the nitrogen is what makes it grow faster. Your potash is what makes your plants grow. and your phosphate is what makes the plants lubricate, basically. So they're smoother, they grow smoother.
So now, is that the same thing with? So you have organic fertilizer, and then you have synthetic fertilizer.
Right. And organic fertilizer has each one of those in it, depending on what kind of fertilizer it is. But the chicken has a higher nitrogen content in it. So anytime you take, rabbit and llama and goat are a pellet. They do little pellets, and those are the more bland, or more not bland, but more mild fertilizers you can use on your plants. They get fertilizer, but they're not getting so much of it's going to burn them and kill them. Your horses and donkey fertilizer is just, I mean, it's a well balanced fertilizer. You can take it right out of the horse and put it right on the plants, and it won't hurt them. So they eat grass. It comes in and it ferments and turns it right into a fertilizer. It goes right out, and it's fertilizer. Cattle's the same way. But you'll find if you test it, it's higher in potash and phosphorus than it is on nitrogen. The nitrogen levels are lower.
Mm-hmm. Now, nitrogen supports leaf growth. Now,
Correct.
That's going to be totally. People think I want the biggest plant. Let me just put nitrogen to it, but it doesn't really equal that way out.
Well, if you're growing greens, it's perfect. Mustard greens and collard greens. If that's what you want to grow, then that's what you put on it. A lot of fertilizer, a lot of nitrogen, so that way you'll get the greens, the growth of the greens. It makes the leaves. It makes the leaves grow. It doesn't make the leaves. It makes leaves grow. So you have to have the main block in the whole fertilizer thing is potash. Everything, the potash is your building block. It's the blocks that makes the plant. If you take dirt and have no potash in it and just put your nitrogen on it, you're not going to get anything growing. So you have to have that potash, because the potash is the building blocks.
And then you have the P. So we went over to N as the nitrogen, the P, the phosphorus, and that aids in root development.
Right, and the growth of the smoothness of the growth. So it's like oil; it smooths everything out, so it grows, without having any kind of leaves bent up and stuff like that.
And then you have the K. So we went over to N, we got over to P, and the K is overall. It's just potassium.
That's your potassium. Your potash. Potassium is potash.
Right, and so that's your plant health.
Right. So now there is sulfur, and there is magnesium, and there's zinc, but those are lesser important nutrients in the soil. Sulfur is now starting to show up as more. It's getting to be more of a nutrient that the ground needs, because diesel oil that used to be made years ago had sulfur in it, and so the tractors, the trucks, and all that stuff that drove around with diesel pumped out the sulfur. It landed on the ground, and so it helped fertilize the ground and have that sulfur there. They're finding more and more plants are being in deficiency in sulfur because there's no more sulfur in diesel fuel.
Interesting.
So, and a lot of people come in and they say, well, I don't understand why my plants aren't growing, why the grass ain't growing, or whatever. You go out to find out that it's way under sulfur. You say, well, you need to go out and put some sulfur on it. Of course, everybody said, sulfur? Where'd I get sulfur? Well, most of your ag places will sell 50-pound bags of sulfur, and you don't need a lot of sulfur put on the ground. You just need to spread some, on your ground or in your plants or your soil. Now, I don't recommend going out and just putting it on automatically, because you don't really know what you need. That's why I say the soil samples is an important thing.
So Katie has a question. What's the difference between fertilizer and soil conditioner?
I don't know what's in the conditioner. I can tell you what's in the fertilizer. I know what's in the fertilizer. And I'll talk about this also, is that if you know how you've seen fertilizer say 13, 13, 13, or 10, 0, and 5. Well, if those numbers represent how much nutrients is in that batch of fertilizer, and it's actually by the pounds. I call it units. A 13, 13, 13 is 13 units of nitrogen, 13 units of phosphorus, and 13 units of potassium. Now, 13 units, you think you got a 50-pound bag. That actually what you have in that bag is not 13 units. You have 7.5 or 6.5 units. That 13 units is on 100 pounds, which people don't know. That you buy 100 pounds of the fertilizer, and there's a 13, 13, 13. You only have 13 units of each of those in there. The rest of it is just carriers. So your potassium and your phosphorus is the actual mineral. It will go in the ground if and it will sit there for years until the plants need it. You can't put too much on the ground, which then locks up other stuff. Your nitrogen is a gas. It's actually a gas. People may or may not know that when you're breathing oxygen right now, the air you breathe is 79% of it is nitrogen. And it's not really 20. I don't have all the things. It's 20% oxygen plus there's 1% of inert gases in it. Argon, helium, all those. There's those in there. That 1% is that. So they just rounded off to 2179. 79 nitrogen, 21 oxygen.
So, guys, just let you guys know when we're talking, and if you have no idea what Jerry's talking about, everything's going to make sense by the end of this whole
I hope
A to Z about fertilizer. Not everything, but we're going to try to make it. We're going to try to make it a lot easier for you guys to how to use things. So that's important. Easiest is the best.
Yeah, and I try to make it easy, and I know it's all science, and it gets right down to the science, and you can get out of it what you put in it. The more you put in it, the learning and stuff, the more you can get out of it. To me, it's second nature because I did it for 10 years at a job every day, 6 days a week. So it's like, to me, somebody says something, it's automatically it just comes off without even thinking about it, So it's there's a lot to it, depending on what you're doing. Now, we're talking about nitrogen for growth. You don't want to put a bunch of nitrogen if you're trying to get a bunch of flowers, because your tomatoes come from flowers, and all the plants, all the vegetables that come from flowers, not counting your root things, but actually from the flowers. If you're putting nitrogen on there, all you're doing is promoting the green to grow. You're not promoting it to put out fruit and vegetables. Now, so you need to have, like, if you're doing carrots, you need more potassium. So it produces root growth. So you want a potato as a root. So you want to get that root growth. So that's the way you get that by putting more potassium. That's why I say you really need to have a soil sample for the plants you're growing. Know what you're growing and what they need, and then amend your soil to what they need. You'll get your maximum amount of growth and vegetables and production out of it. Now, and I give you a story of my property. I have, like I said, there's 116 acres total, but it's 110 working acres. And I had one of my fields. I was talking about putting some potash on it, and the grass was about maybe 6 to 8 inches tall. And when I was loading, I was actually spreading fertilizer on a person's field. The guy who loaded me double the amount of fertilizer. So I spread it out on this guy's property, and I went back and I said, "Hey, I've got too much fertilizer on this thing." He goes, "What did I put on you?" And I said, "Well, you put that was like 6 tons on me, and I only need 3 tons." And I said, so I spread the field. I said, I've got 3 tons left. And to get it off the truck, it's either you shovel it off, or you have to turn my truck that time didn't have a way you could turn the spinners off. So you could feed it out automatically, but it would just dump out and spread all over the yard. And that was just a waste. So I told my boss, I said, "Hey, I'll go spread this on my grass field I want to get it on." And I'll pay for it. He said, well, that's fine. Just go ahead and go. So I went to my place. I spread it on my ground, and 1 month later, I had almost 3 foot of grass just by putting the potash on. I had no nitrogen in there. You know, it just by putting the potash on it, I had that much growth in grass, and I got like out of this 16 acres, I got like I don't know, like 70 bales of grass. So it was really good. So that I'm a big thing of potash. You need that potash to make your plants grow. With you already have nitrogen, and so it's out there. So the plant's going to get nitrogen from the air, but it can't get potash from the air. It's got to be put there for it.
Right, right. So can fertilizer hurt or kill plants?
If you over fertilize, yes, it can.
Yep.
You burn them.
Definitely. That's like same thing with just putting like a chicken manure down. All of a sudden you can't just put it on your plant. The only thing you do is like
chicken manure needs to what I call aged out. And that's where the samples, you can take samples in to your soil samples and chicken manure samples in, and they'll tell you how hot it really is.
Rabbit manure is the only thing you could just put down right away, right to the plant.
You can put rabbit manure down because it's mild.
And how about cow manure or horse manure?
Cow manure, you can put it out if you go through, like if you came by my place and looked out where my cows were, and you saw where there's puffs of green grass. That's where the cow manure is, where the cows, the grass is spread it. They live there, and the grass grows right in that area where the rest of the grass isn't growing as much. So I have a drag, and I drag the fields, or I say I drag. I have the fields drag. My grandson does it. My wife will do it. My granddaughter will do it. Somebody will go and actually drag the field, which breaks up the manure and spreads it out throughout the whole grass. So then you don't have these clumps of green. It gets uniform green. Excuse me.
And just to let you guys know, there was a study on Jennifer Ocean Hopestead. Welcome to the channel. It's nice to see you. This statement is actually true. Playing classical music also makes plants grow bigger and faster and produce more to food. There was actually a study on that. And the study, it could have been a given year. It had a good year.
But what that was is the vibration from the sound stimulated the plant.
I tell you, Jerry, if I sing, all the plants are going to die.
I play my radio in my tractor when I'm out there. Hopefully that helps them.
Barb used horse manure.
So I want to talk about the fertilizer here, about nitrogen. And this is a touchy subject because well, I shouldn't say a lot of places do not sell ammonium nitrate anymore because ammonium nitrate was used at Oklahoma City with the bombing there. So the fertilizer companies decided that they didn't want to sell that anymore because the insurance for it has gone outrageous, because now it's like a bar. If you have a guy comes in your bar and drinks and he gets drunk and drives out and kills somebody and he's drunk, then you become liable for that. Well, fertilizer plants are something. If you sell fertilizer to somebody and you're not sure what his intentions are because you've never seen this guy before, he comes in and buys. Matter of fact, they wouldn't even let you sell it anymore by itself. It has to be mixed with something now. But they used to be able to go in there and buy ammonium nitrate, 4 or 5 tons of it straight, and go out and spread it on your fields. So they've done away with ammonium nitrate, and I should say done away with it. They've got to make it harder to get it, and they've come out with what they call urea, and it's it's not an explosive part of it. There's nothing, and it's a gas, and it's made by. And I'm not the real technical person on this, but I know it's made by, they drop something through this chamber and it makes this little pellet, and that's what your urea comes from. So you can't do anything with that to cause any kind of problems. So there, so most places, and I'm sure you can probably find one or two fertilizer plants that's paying the extra insurance that has ammonium nitrate, but it's getting to be less and less and less available in the United States. But they do have another fertilizer called sulfate ammonia, which has sulfur in it. So you can use that instead of the urea and put it with your potash and your phosphorus, and that will give you the sulfur of content you might need in your soils. So, and nothing against Billy that was on here 2 weeks ago, but Billy said that a 312 is a good mix. Well, people don't know what 312 is, and if you don't know what it is, it means that 312 is 3 parts of nitrogen, 1 part of phosphorus, and 2 parts of potash. And I'm a stickler about, I hate to put too much on because too much nitrogen can be damaging. Excuse me. And you can have, by putting on the wrong amounts of fertilizer, you can lock up other fertilizers that are in the soil where they can't be utilized because they're locked up because the other fertilizers in there. And that gets into a lot more. And people go to school and learn that. I went to school at age 49 when I moved here in Missouri and went back to college and got a degree in agriculture. And to me, it was fun. I enjoyed it. I mean, I'd go back to 4-year college right now if my wife would let me. I learned a lot. And I had a lot of instructors come to me and say, "Hey, take my class, And I'm like, "Well, I already took that class." "Well, can you take it again?" I said, "Well, I got an A minus in it, or a B plus in it. Why do I want to take it again?" "Well, because you make my class interesting." And I looked at them and said, "What are you talking about, making class interesting?" They said, "Well, you ask questions." And I said, "Well, yeah, I'm there to learn. And if I don't ask questions, I'm not going to learn." They say, "Yeah, but a lot of students don't. They're not there to learn. They're there because their mom told them they had to be there." So, and I went to a junior college and got an AAS in agriculture technology. So that's what you can learn from your junior colleges, your ag schools. You can always go and ask them questions. They love to answer questions. I guarantee it.
I love everything about it. I grew up next to a farm. I had an old Polish guy, using the cow manure and all stuff like that, and I always listened to everything he had to say. Um, I always loved it. I wish I went into it when I was right out of college. I just had my garden since I was actually when I was like 10 years old. I just grew, and now I always said I grew up more than 30 years, but now I'm getting too old, Jerry. I'm
But
thinking, well, I can't do the math anymore.
yeah, I understand that. Sometimes I forget things, So I have lots of words at times, all times, even on lives and stuff. I think, what's that word again? I can't remember it. So, yeah, I'm 60. I'll be 67 here in 9 days.
Wow! So happy early birthday!
Yeah, thank
When
you.
did you actually start getting into gardening?
When I started what?
Get into say gardening, or
Well,
did
Susan and
you
I
grow up?
gardened in San Diego. In San Diego, we lived on on top of a hill, I guess you call it, and we had a canyon behind us, and we had fruit trees, and because it's in my blood. When I was in high school, I lived in Simi Valley, which is where President Reagan was buried, and I grew up there, and I raised uh, rabbits to help myself go through high school, and I had 300 breeding females, and I would butcher 25 on Saturday and 25 on Sunday, and I had the meat all sold before I even did it. And so it's been in my blood, I think, because my grandfather was kind of like a farmer. He worked for the forest ranger. He was a forest ranger, and he was all over. And my mom grew up in Little Rock, Arkansas, and so we've always dabbled in a garden someplace, somehow, or animals some way. And when my wife and I got together, she had a garden in San Diego, and we had some illegal chickens. You're not supposed to have farm animals in the city, but we had a couple chickens. So we had we didn't have a rooster. We had some chickens, so we get eggs from them. And we always had we had a plum tree there that we had one year. We got so many plums, we were overran with plums, and we made a bunch of plum jelly and gave it away to people. So I've always dabbled. We always dabble something in growing or doing something. And when we moved here, we had more room, and Susan started doing what they call straw bale gardening, and she is kind of, I don't want to say big in it because she's had some good years, she's had some bad years, but she always does some kind of straw bale gardening. And she did it in San Diego. We were actually more successful in San Diego than we are here with it. And I think here is because we forget about going out and watering as much because we got so many other things going on.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. But she still does every year. She puts out 4 to 10 bales of straw that she uh, uh, conditions and puts the plants in, and she grows plants in them. And then she also does a lot of container gardening where uh, buckets and 55-gallon drums, And then last year we started doing raised beds where we've got these IBC totes. We cut them in half and we fill them up with soil. And I put rock in the bottom and then gardening cloth over top of the rock, and then put the dirt on top of that. So the water had a place to go away from the plants. And we put them out, and she started doing that. And she likes that better because we have a real bad problem with Johnson grass here. Johnson grass is a very invasive grass that grows here, and it can be poisonous at certain times of the year with certain conditions. And
Wow.
so Missouri has got it. Oklahoma grows it as a crop, and Missouri doesn't want you to have it. They want you to eliminate it. So it's not easy to eliminate. You got to really the cows do a good job of it. They'll eat it out. If you leave it out there, they'll eat it out. But you also have to be careful if you've got to grow it someplace, you don't turn the cows into there because like if it's been no rain for 3 or 4 days and you get like a little drought type thing, and the plant gets stressed out, and then all of a sudden you have rain for that 3 or 4 days after the rain, the plant will have it comes deadly poisonous. It's got the strychnine in it on the plant. The plant puts out it'll put out a white powder on the leaves,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
it can wipe out your whole herd if you're not careful. You put them on there and let them eat that.
So Serena actually has a question here. She goes, "How often should a fish emulsion be applied to tomato and pepper plants? And do you spray the plants or just water a certain number of inches from the stem?"
Fish emulsion. That's fish. I get fish emulsion from my water tanks, my cow tanks and stuff like that. We pull the fish. Well, I don't want to say that. I'm trying to be the fish doo. We take it out once a year, and we will spread it on the trees or whatever. But I, that is another science part. I've not gotten into fish emulsion and plants and stuff, and it's a mild fertilizer. So I don't see, as long as you're not drowning a plant, and I don't see you'd have much problem with it. We put it on our fruit trees, and we put it on our fruit trees last year, and they were only 2-year-old trees, and we got fruit out of them.
So we got a lot of new people that just came in the chat. That's awesome. Sarah just came on in from Sarah's Happy Hives.
Yeah, I saw Jesse, Lisa came in.
Kim G just came on in. Anita Flora just came on in. Thank you, guys. You got Good Times Homestead with Jen and Steve is here. Wanda Moses. You got CSL RC Lauren. And can you please email me when you have a chance with your address? I appreciate it. Janice Erfer is here. Barry Phelan's here. Thank you, everyone, for coming. We just hit 101 a little while ago. We haven't hit 100 since last year, which was awesome. So thank you guys for making that happen. It just made my day. There's Jesse and Lisa. G Mama Grows is here. Jeremy and Cheryl Cruise Adventures. Thank you guys. And if I missed anybody, I'm sorry. But you guys are simply amazing. I just wanted to say simply because simply Jan's here, and she's a video, and
She'll
she's
appreciate that.
there's Dee's garden adventures. So guys, we're going to split things up in quarters here, but we're also going to give away a lot of seeds today. So the seeds are going to be put into a um, the generator, the StreamYard generator. So if you're in a chat, you're going to do the hashtag and that kind of thing. And then we also have the wheel. That's where we give other stuff away. So just to break this up a little bit, we're going to give away. We're going to go to our generator right now. So give Jerry a couple seconds break.
Thank you.
And we're going to put hashtag Butler Family Farming. So hashtag Butler Family Farm. So I don't know if I showed it or not. So we're going to show it again. Hashtag Butler Family Farm. Jerry, can you see that on your side?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So we're going to do 10 giveaway. This is all seeds to start. It's going to be 10 quick winners. I'm going to do this as fast as I can. And please email me ASAP. I have very limited time, so I need to get this out tonight. So do it ASAP. After you win, they come back to the live. Whatever you need to do to email me as fast. Even if you win 20 times on my site or 100 times, like some people could have, just always email me. It just makes it easier for cross-checking.
Yeah, Jan.
And as you know, Jan never wins on my site.
No, she says she never wins. I know.
She's won twice.
Yep.
And one of the times she got gifted.
It's like me and Jesse. I go on Jesse's all the time. I never win. Even when I win, I don't win. My wife gets it.
And talking about Jesse, Alaska 25, Jerry. I can't wait for Alaska 25.
Yep. We're at 500 and 330. Come on. It's dragging on.
So,
532 days.
Oh wow.
That be here really before you know it.
Oh, it's going to be here fast. I got to make sure I put another payment down soon before it all pops up.
Yeah,
okay, so we're going to give.
We haven't started adding excursions yet either.
It's and I really need a vacation, and it's going to be fun with my son because he's going to be 15. You know, when I was 15. Is totally different when my son is 15 on a cruise, no less. He's going to be flirting with some people. He's going to get in trouble. I wonder what's going to happen. You can't discipline somebody when they're on a cruise.
Susan and I are going to make it our honeymoon because we never went on a honeymoon, and it's actually our 41st year of being marriage.
Oh wow, that is awesome! I love that. You don't see that too often these days, and I appreciate that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to do 10 quick winners. Let's get these out as fast as we can. First winner. What kind of seeds? It's all about a surprise. You guys should get surprised. Kim G. Congratulations. First winner. Second winner. I got to get some music to this. That's the one thing that's missing.
Yep. A polka music.
Congratulations, 2%. Snailey's out. Purple T-Bear. My goal is sometime or another get everyone to grow seeds from me sometime in their journey through the channel. So hopefully somebody could always grow something what I could give out. And I think that's my best gift I could keep on giving. I love to give money, but I can't. Disabled and prepping. Congratulations. Next winner, Jersey Twister. It's a twister. It's a twister. And man, I tell you what. Yeah, shh. Yeah, especially
we live in the belt. So you know.
Yeah, knock on some wood here. It was so windy here yesterday. It was crazy. Welcome in Vineyard Checks. The Wickershire Project.
Hey, Billy won.
He's growing a lot of melons this year. He's going to be meloned out, but that's all good.
I'm hoping to grow a lot of pumpkins this year.
That'd be great. Have you ever grown one of those huge pumpkins?
That's what I'm working on.
Awesome. Congratulations, me and my shadow.
I've got some secrets I'm going to try to do and see if it works.
I love watching the UK channels and the people the biggest growing things. You know what's funny? A lot of those guys, their name is Bubba. Milk and Honey Heritage Farms. Congratulations. The one guy on YouTube, his name is Bubba, and he does Elvis impersonations and stuff. It's pretty funny. Hey. Take a look at my pumpkin. Ted Pottle. Congratulations, Ted Pottle. Hope you guys like this new format. Hopefully you guys become a member. Become a member to the channel. There are benefits becoming a member. Dawn and Holla, having fun. It's always good to have benefits. Last two winners. Then we'll move on. Awesome. I see email starting to come on in.
Great.
Don't you know? And last one for this period of time. So it's already 7:49. Time's flying by.
Yep.
So we got our little break in between. And Scotty Too Hottie. All right. So let me stop sharing this. And just to let you guys know, we on Grow Big TV, we have some awesome guests. I hope you guys check out some of the past lives we had. We had some words can't describe some of the guests we have had. We also, our last guest talked about they think they found a cure for colon cancer, and through 3 years of testing with hemp and everything like that, it's in its final stages right now. They found a cure for colon cancer, which is totally awesome. And that's interesting too, because I just had my colonoscopy because I'm 54 and I'm good for 10 years. Whoop, whoop. I don't know anything about anything else about me, but got that clear. But we had some awesome guests on, and I hope you guys could check out some of those lives. They are really, really cool. And if you guys are entering those challenges, there's 6 challenges we have. Check all those out. And the winner gets $100. And we'll give seeds for the second and third prizes. And so just make sure you use the hashtag #GrowBig. Hashtag #GrowBig in each contest so we can look you up. And Cliff at Foxed Outdoors, can you just go back into your video and put hashtag #GrowBig? Because it's easier to follow. And thank you, Jane, for showing that. I appreciate that. Okay. So, Jerry, we have some graphs we have.
You want to bring that up?
Yep. Let's talk about these graphs.
Can they see that all right? If they can't, we can take ourselves off. This is a soil test report. And you can see my cursor. So there's up here is a field. You name your field, whatever field you want, 1, 2, or whatever. And then it says here a sample number. You put how many samples you're going to have out of that field, because some fields are so big you want to do it in smaller quantities or smaller test areas. Like I have a 25-acre field that I have split up into 3 different little fields. And so I would do it, in that area. And I've actually named my fields 1 through 12. So we put on the actual field name, and then we didn't have to worry about the sample number. We just do one. But then it tells you when I want you to put the approximate acres in there, and then you put down last time it was tested, which if last time it was lime. To me, last time you put lime on. Now, lime is what changes your pH. If you have you want your pH, which shows you on the first line there, this is a 4.9. You want it to be between 6 and 7 is what is optimal. And the rest of the report basically tells like this is on pastures or hay fields, as this soil sample is from, and this is actually for the Missouri MU College. They put this out there to show you what you actually need to fill, and this is A, B, C. They go on to tell you more information on their webpage. But on here, you'll see like the phosphorus level is 22. That's 22 pounds per acre. And it tells you it's in the medium range. And your potassium is 303, and it's in a little high range. And calcium is 2,091. That's in the middle range. And your magnesium is 278, which is in the low range. So what they're telling you just off the bat on this is you don't really need potassium, but you need a little bit more phosphorus, and you might need a little magnesium, which you can get some fertilizer that has magnesium in it. Another way you can do it is if you have animals like I have cows, I feed them a mineral tub with magnesium, and they distribute the magnesium for me. They don't, their body doesn't use all the magnesium; it goes right through the system. Also in this soil here, there has the organic matter right down there, and this says it's 2.2. If you're using a compost pile, and as the top dress your plants and stuff, that should show higher organic matter. And then it shows you the acid, and this is the neutralization acid is 6, and the exchange rate is 12.8. Whoops, let me do that one. It moved up. Now on this here, they're telling, if you look at it, the person's going to put alfalfa grass. It is established on there. He's going to put clover. He's going to have clover as the next crop, and then he's going to have alfalfa grass again, and then cool season grasses. So this is telling you that the nitrogen you need for those first two is 20, and those are 20 units. So that's 20 units per 100 out of 100 pounds per acre. So and then these potash, it says it needs 55, and it doesn't need any potassium. Now they take in consideration what the plant is going to use. So this is what you should put on there, because that's what those plants are going to use, and that's what's going to drop your amount up here. It's going to drop down the amount. So this is a recommendation what you should put on there. So if you were going to go and put this on there, and I messed it up, that's P2 is your potassium. You would go in the fertilizer plant and tell them you want a you go like 230, which you tell me you want. That type of fertilizer. And then you would put 100 pounds an acre, and that would basically give you that amount. And it tells you on the bottom here, that's the goal. There's right here, it says goal, how many, and I don't know if that's supposed to be bales there or not, but that's the number they want is how many went on there. I put in write down how many bales I want to get off of it, and that's what changes the amount of your fertilizer. If you're telling me you want to get 10 bales per acre, they're going to tell you you're going to have higher nutrients put on there. And also on here, it tells you for your pH level, we have 4.9. They're recommending that you put 1.39 tons per acre of lime. And that also, where's that at? That's not, where's that at? Here. I'm trying to find where that hole is. It's not on this one. See, they don't on this one. They don't show the EMNs. The EMNs is how much actual working lime or working calcium you have in your lime. and it doesn't show on here. Just they just recommended at 1.3. Now let me get my other slide here, Joe.
Okay.
Go to this one. Okay.
You just got to make it bigger if you can.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for coming on in.
Okay, this is another one that's from the. I think they've changed the layout. Basically, this is the newer soil sample report, and it basically has the same things up on top here. It has your pH level, which is 5.8, which is closer to what the neutral that you want. But I wanted to show you that down here. Yeah, I saw it earlier. I don't know where it's at now. EMNs, where the EMNs at? Oh, there. Here's right here. EMNs is 255. Which on if you take that other sample where they say that what you want 1.25, let's just say it says 2 tons the acre. You have to take this EMNs to get that number. Be sure that number is the right amount because EMNs change depending on where the lime comes from. Right here, in my area, I have if I get lime from one plant, the EMNs it runs around 350. If I get it from another plant, it's 700 and some odd.
Wow.
So depending on, and that's that much per ton. So this is 255. They want you to have 255 EMNs per acre, and their recommendations were. Let me see. It doesn't see it. Oh, okay, they're saying that's what they want. You have is 255. So if what that tells me if this person wanted lime on his property, and I was getting it from the place that has 340 EMNs, I could put it on 1 ton of the acre, and he would have the amount that he needs, and then a little bit extra, so it won't hurt him. So just make his soil a little bit more on the neutral side, more of the analytic side. So and I've seen these, believe me, I've seen these where it says 6,000 and 7,000. Where you're thinking the guy said, "Well, yeah, I need 15 tons of lime." Well, you can't put 15 tons of lime on any kind of land at one time. You need to put like no more than 2.5 to 3 tons per acre per year. So it's a long-term process to get the real acidy soil back to neutral. So and this tells you that on this soil sample they wanted to have wheat and sorghum silage, and they want and I don't know what they mean by 50 on here. It doesn't say that it means 50 pounds or 50 tons or what the actual 50 is supposed to mean. That's misleading basically. But they say they need 80 units of nitrogen, 85 of the phosphorus, 145 of the potash, and they're saying the zinc and sulfur is okay. So this is one of the newer samples that tells you what sulfur you need. Like I told you earlier, they're finding out more and more land needs sulfur. Excuse me. So that's what this one shows you, and this is the report you'll get back when you take your samples in. They'll mail you a report back with your name on it and where it comes from and all of this. And this was courtesy from the College of the Ozarks. A friend of mine who's an instructor down there. I asked her for a sample, and she emailed this to me, so I was able to use it. And it's on one of their fields down there. That's 15 acres. So it takes a little bit of time, and it is beneficial. Hey, Andale, it's beneficial if you, to me, do at least a soil sample if you're planting in a garden, like in the ground. You're planting in the garden to ground. Do a soil sample and find out what you're working with. Have a baseline. And I wanted to just show you one other thing. I think it's this one here. This is a fertilizer truck that I used to drive in. Let's see if I move this one here.
How many have you got stuck?
That I was stuck there. I was stuck there. You can see it's down. And the thing is, I was only 3 feet from being in dry ground again. And when I went there, I hit this area right there. I got to get out of here. This is wet. And I
Yeah.
turned, and if I could have gone right to that edge right there, I've been back on dry land. So I had to have a guy come out with a tractor hook on the front of it, pull me 3 feet, and I was out. But that was
All the
fine.
aggravation for that little.
Oh, yeah, and this truck was loaded down. I had 8 tons of fertilizer on it. And that was the maximum fertilizer I could carry was 8 tons at a time. So basically, that's if anybody has any questions. Let's see.
Any questions? Make sure they're all in caps, guys.
And that truck was programmed. I could program it to how many tons per acre or how many, what I wanted to put out there, how I knew how much I was doing.
Jerry, am I taking that down, or are you still working on another chart? Because now it's getting smaller and smaller.
We need to take it down.
Take it down?
There we go. I did it.
Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Sorry, we don't need any more.
No, that's very important. I mean, to get everything tested like that is so important.
But the main thing is get yourself a baseline. Especially if you're planting right in the ground. You don't know what was on that ground before you moved there. You don't know what they were growing, or if they had chicken houses there, or if you were just, if it's raw ground that you're planting in, you should test it. When I first moved here, I was growing crops. We did soybeans and wheat and corn here, and I rotated the fields. So every year was something different growing in that field. So one nutrient wasn't wiped out of that field. And on the nitrogen on grass now, I try not to use too much nitrogen on the grass because your cows can get nitrogen poisoning. If you have your hay has too much nitrogen in it, it builds up in the grass, and then when your cows eat the grass, they end up getting nitrogen poisoning, and that can kill
them. So we have a question: what is good to add to an alkaline soil to make it more acidic?
That's what the lime does.
Right.
And of course the lime, it leaches out over the years. It actually leaches down into the ground, and so you need to think about liming after so many years, depending on what your numbers are. I try to do a sample on my property every year. I go and do samples in the different fields every year and see what the numbers are, and then I calculate what I can afford, because fertilizer has gone up so high that I can't afford to pay X amount of dollars this year. So you figure out what you can afford, and that's what you try to work off your budget.
Okay. 1 second. I just lost the question. Wanda goes, please explain how to take soil samples. So how do you
Right. I have a probe. And I don't have it right now, where I bring it in and show it to you. My friend came over the other day and borrowed it because he was doing soil samples in this place. It's a handle. It's like a T handle, and it has a hole in the middle, about a 3/4 inch hole. And you take it out and you step on it, and it takes the core out. And I always tell people what I do is I would go to one field, go to one corner, and I walk diagonal across the other field, and I walk every 10, 15 feet or so and take a sample, and then take the sample out and put it in a bucket, and then go all across the field and go to the other corner and walk diagonal again and take samples all the way across it again. Then you take your bucket and you take, because I was doing such a big area, but if you do a smaller, you wouldn't do that. And I would take all the grass out of it, any rocks are in there out of it, any roots are in there, take them out and just leave the soil there. Then I take about no more than 1 cup and put it in a sandwich bag, and I take that into the conservation or the extension office, depending on who's doing your soil samples, and then they would test that amount. So I'm not they don't need that much. So by doing that, you're getting a wide sample of the ground. So you're getting a better idea of that whole area of what that needs. Now, if you're doing a small, hey, Gary, If you're doing a small garden area, all you have to do is, dig them in different couple areas with a little trowel, pick up, you know, I don't know, half a cup of soil in it, mix it all up in the bucket, take your rocks if there's any in there, any twigs and grass, anything out, mix it all up, take out about a cupful, dump the rest of it back in your garden, and take out and have a sample. The more samples you take from the areas, the better read overall you're going to get. You're not going to just have this one spot, because that one spot, and I'm sorry, but I think large area. I think farm myself. I have burn piles. If I go and do a sample where the burn pile is at, it's going to tell me it's really high in potash. So it's not going to need potash there. Well, that's because I burned there. So that's why I always say you do a wide sample, then you get a better general look at what your ground has looked like. And I talk with state of Missouri, because that's where I do all my living, where I live and I do all my stuff. The state of Missouri has at the college level, they have a program that tells you all the different soils it's in the whole state. It's a sandy loam, or if it's a clay area or whatever it is, they have it all in the state type of environment, which is it's some program. I don't know what the program's called, but they have it. So when you tell them you live in this area, they already go, okay, I know the soil. Then they go and look at the soil. Oh, I know what the soil is, and then they can give you a better representation of what you need. If you're in a sandy loam area, you don't need you may need a different type of fertilizer, or more of one type of fertilizer versus the other type.
Jerry, just to let you know, we have 111 people on the chat.
Wow.
Total from both sides. So thank you guys, everyone, for coming. That is awesome. Appreciate you guys being here.
That's great. I appreciate it too. I want everybody to be sure that you understand that the numbers on the bags is not what you're actually getting in that bag, because it's based on 100 weight. So I mean, you can use a blanket 13 13 13 in your garden and you'd be okay. You should be okay. But if you're trying to grow greens, I would go out and get more urea and put more urea on the ground. That make your greens grow faster, taller. You got to be careful though that you don't put too much nitrogen on there, because greens will gather nitrogen. And I don't know if people have ever heard of a thing called blue baby, where mothers have eaten vegetables where they have high nitrogen content, and the baby, they're nursing off them, the baby starts turning blue because the nitrogen gets in the system and it causes the baby to turn blue, and it's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. So that's why I always tell people you should check your soils, see what your baseline is, and then figure out what you're doing and go from there.
It's good seeing Butt Loop in here. I haven't seen Butt Loop in a while. And Grown with Hudson's back, and I haven't seen Grown with Hudson for a while either. So thank you guys. It's good seeing you guys.
I have make sure 6 people on my side.
This is awesome. Thank you guys. So I want to show Jerry's site quick. So his YouTube channel. I don't want to forget. Whoop. So Butler Family Farm, 3.42K, 889 videos. So this is pretty awesome. Let me go to videos here. Jerry's been out and about on a YouTube circle, that's for sure. He's always posting, as you can see, 1 day, 3 days, 6 days, 8 days, 9. Basically every other day, he's doing some kind of video. He's a hand craftsman.
The shorts are also there every other day. If I'm not posting a video, I'm usually posting a short.
I just do.
Yeah, of course, it doesn't show the days on there, but if I don't post a video, I usually post a short. I try to do something every day. Now, today was an exception to the rule. I didn't post nothing, mainly because I got 3 or 4 videos I'm working on, and I haven't had a chance to post anything.
I like the new farm boss. Anytime I see kids around, I got to play it.
That's my new grandbaby.
Oh,
The boss finally showed up, so everybody's cracking the
We had to
whip.
we were out there
Cracking
cutting
the
wood.
whip.
We put
Get it going,
the
guys.
chainsaws, and it was pretty loud, so we put ear muffs on to protect his ears. And I was thought he ain't
The
gonna lie.
boss
He'll just
finally
yank those
showed
things
up.
off. But he sat there with it on the whole time.
that's so cute. Your live shows. Let's go to see your live. So
We go live on
schedule.
Monday at 5:45.
Yep, which is 6:45 Eastern Standard Time. And you can see Jerry's live right now. So this is pretty awesome. Now you've been making a lot of handcrafted things.
I
Name some.
do hand pens and pencils. I turn pens and pencils, and I also turn crochet hooks. I've got there's 3 crochet hooks I've done so far. Lisa from Lazy Days Ahead's got one, and Rebecca's got one, and my wife's got one. The only thing about the crochet hooks is they're expensive, crazy expensive for the mechanisms.
And you got Mrs. T with the T here.
Right.
And when are you going to go live?
I'll be on. Sorry.
When are you going to go live with her?
Yeah, tomorrow morning at 8:15 her time. I think it's 9:15 Central. We're going to be talking about community strikes and copyrights. And I've had a community strike one time because I was co-streaming with somebody and they put something on that was not liked or not preferred by YouTube. And she got her second strike and I got our first strike. And we're going to be talking about how you can go about removing strikes if you get strikes.
Now, I seen a video with an ice storm. Now, ice storm on a farm, what you're going to be you do different things than other people with ice storms. Like, what are some of the things you have to act on when you have ice on the farm?
First day in the morning, we got to go out and break ice for the animals. Be sure that they have water. Because, they can go without food for a while, but they can't go without water. A cow will drink 50 to 75 to 100 gallons of water a day, depending on how big they are and what the temperature is. So, since I have my knee surgeries, I don't go out as often as Susan does because, she's afraid I'm going to fall. And so that hasn't been a year yet since my surgery has been over. And my knee's still on the stiff side. But so she'll go out there and she'll break the ice. And Robert, my son, will go out there also and break the ice.
Oh, these cheesy Italian meatballs sound really good right now.
Oh, she did that. That was pretty good. She did that on a collaboration.
That sounds really good. And talk about crafts. You guys work a lot on crafts in the household?
Susan is a crochet and knitting fool.
Love it.
She and her sister in California has toned down her crochet and stuff and knitting. So she's always sending her boxes, and I mean big boxes of stuff. And she's got totes after totes after totes of yarn and that she does all kinds of stuff. She makes it washcloths and pot holders and you name it, she makes it. And she also does a lot of quilts. And there's a video on there. I think it's on the top video. I think it is with a cat on it. That quilt she did for my sister, right there. Yeah, that's the last one. And that's a quilt that she finished off for my sister. That my sister paid Susan to make it for her.
I noticed
it took her about a year.
Noticed the hooks too.
Yep, that's a little short idea of the crochet hooks. That crochet hook handle is Susan's handle, and I made it out of it's laminated wood with a bunch of different woods on it.
Here is a crochet hook handle with crochet hooks from 7, 6, 5.5, 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, and a 3. So this is a handle I made for that. If anybody's interested, let me know. It is not cheap. I'm sorry to say. So just let me know if you like it.
The mechanism and the hooks are what's really expensive. So it's all aluminum hooks and stuff, and you can just take one hook out and put another size in.
That's awesome. Well, it's 8:16 already. We're going to go to our wheel. We're going to go to our polka a little bit. We got a lot more stuff to talk about with fertilizer because we're just starting. Thank you everyone for coming. Appreciate it. There's 113 people on the chat. total and other social media. We're going to give away some ice cream yarn. Got some ice cream yarn. Ice cream scoop here. Giving away. This is a size large T-shirt. It's only have. Serena, I can't really look at the jokes right now, so I'm sorry. I just don't have a chance. So Serena tells jokes once in a while, which is all good. Okay. So this is a T-shirt. This is pretty cool. It's a Harry Potter T-shirt. So still has a tag. So that's a size large, which is pretty cool. If anybody wants to buy a Garden State Gardener shirt, I only have 2 of them, and they're size medium. They're at $15, which includes shipping, which is a good deal. I got to find my other shirts, and I have no idea where they're at. Then we got the 3 books I showed before. We're not going to give all these out in this present time, showing you some of the stuff. And some diamond art kit and some seeds. So let's get the wheel up. Good luck, everyone. Thank you guys all for coming. Become a member. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to make a donation in any kind of way, there's my Venmo, PayPal down there. And let's get this going. Time's really flying, Jerry, when you're having fun. This is the fastest live. This is actually the fastest live I ever have. I'm like, oh my God, this is going so fast. So if we're going to go back to the other one, the StreamYard giveaway tool in the next round. If you are a member, you're automatically put on a wheel each week. If you leave a comment, you're also put on extra time. So if you're a Joseph's Journey member, you get 3 times. That's the highest membership. And Superhero, you get 2. And those beans, those jelly beans, the Jelly Bean Club, you get put once. So if you're a member, how you go on a scale, how many times you get put on. Man, I forgot about those jelly beans. Oh, I hope my son's not listening. Jerry, have you ever had those? The jelly beans?
What kind of jelly beans are you talking about?
Like stink bug jelly bean.
The Jelly Belly ones? Yeah, I've had some of those. Yeah. I've had one of those earwax ones accidentally. That wasn't so nice.
No. My son gave those to me for a while. It was after when I first started coming on YouTube after my son had cancer. And he would come down. It would make him laugh so much, belly laugh. I had to keep on doing it because it made him it was great. But those stink bugs lingered and lingered and lingered.
Oh, man.
I even had a tooth come out of my mouth eating one of those things.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no.
I gotta be careful because I have a couple crowns to lose myself.
Okay, so the first gift I'm giving out, you only have this period of time, so you have to be in a chat to win. So if you're in it, my mods, let me know if they're in a chat. Otherwise, we save this stuff until next round. So here's the diamond art. So here we go. Let's spin it. Good luck, everyone. Diamond art. They have the bulk back. Susan Goulet. Congratulations, Susan Goulet. I hope you're here. Congratulations. You're the first winner tonight. You got to be live in the chat to win. And if you are in the chat, make sure I'm here. Say something. If you want to give it away somebody. Or if you want to just choose seeds, you always could choose seeds on my chat. So congratulations, Susan Goulet. There we are. Susan's here. You won a diamond kit. Second winner is the ice cream yarn, the big scoop. Here's the big scoop. Big scoop. Canadian Proud Get Outdoors.
They're here.
So congratulations, Canadian Proud Get Outdoors. If you do not want the yarn, you want seeds, you're more or less, I usually give more than one packet of seeds. Or you could choose somebody else to give the seeds to. So that is all up to you. Congratulations. Let's go. So Canadian Proud Get Outdoors, do you want the yarn or you want to give it to someone else? So I know you said let's go. What does that let's go mean? Seeds, please. Okay, so congratulations to Canadian Proud Get Outdoors. Let me write that down. Just make sure you email me. Please email me. Okay, so congratulations, Canadian Proud Get Outdoors. And now the yarn goes back. We're going to give it away again. Ice cream yarn. Let's go. Let's go. Bring the energy, Joe. Where's the energy? Start again. Riverdale Gardens. Congratulations, Riverdale Gardens. You are second winner on the wheel tonight. Next one is the Jumbo Yarn. Jumbo Yarn. Congratulations. Here we go. Jumbo. Riverdale Gardens was in the chapter 4. I don't know if it's still here. Congratulations, Riverdale Gardens. Now we got the Jumbo Yarn. Who's Jumbo Yarn?
Mama.
Adventure with Mama. Congratulations, Adventure with Mama. And I think that's the first time I said it right. Adventures with Mama. So
Riverdale wants the yarn.
What was that? Who said that? What?
Riverdale said they want the yarn.
Okay, Riverdale said they want the yarn, so that's good. Now we're looking for Adventure with Mama. So Riverdale Gardens, make sure you message me that you're getting a yarn, which is awesome. And now we're just looking for Adventure with Mama. There we go. Tina said yes. Yep. So that's 3 for 3. That's amazing. Love when our winners go out. Okay. Now we got the t-shirt, and we're going to go back after this. So here's the t-shirt. It's only size large. Only size large. So if it's not your size, choose seeds or give it to somebody else that wants it. Okay, here we go. It's a Harry Potter shirt, guys. It's a Harry Potter shirt. Life and Yarn Tangled. So congratulations, Life and Yarn Tangled. And that's Cindy. So congratulations to Cindy. Cindy's been a member for a long time. I love that woman. I gotta get in touch with her. I haven't seen her in a while. Congratulations, Life and Yarn Tangled. All right. So we got a lot more stuff to give away in a little bit, guys. Might have to give that shirt away again. I don't think Cindy is here. This week on Grow Big TV on Tuesday and Thursday, we're going to talking to AJ's Green Topics. So we're going to do more YouTube stuff on Grow Big TV this week. So we're going to talk about worms, a lot of stuff on worms. And we also had Food Forest Permaculture, and he's going to be on during the week too. And we're going to talk about permaculture, trying to put everything together from biochar and everything we've been talking about the soil. So we're looking forward to that on Grow Big TV this week at 8 o'clock, a new time on Grow Big TV on Tuesday and Thursday. Okay. And I don't know, just let you guys know, we only been getting like 25 people in the chat over there, and which is pretty interesting. I don't know if there's something else going on or whatever, but really check out those lives. Those lives, I'm telling you, have been absolutely amazing guests. And we want them back. We want them back. Joe, did you like my worm photo? Yes. Oh, Kimmy sent me a photo of a worm. It was like huge. It was like this long. It was great. Thank you for sending me that on your vacation, no less. That was awesome. Okay, got to go back to fertilizer. Where do you want to go to now, Jerry?
I don't know where we should go to next. I'm not sure.
Okay, let me go back to some of my questions.
Yeah, what do you got question wise, and then maybe I can come off with some of that.
Okay. Can you make your own liquid fertilizer?
Yes, you can. You can take. My wife's made llama poo tea, where you could take, and soak it like we put it. She does when she makes llama poo tea. She takes the llama poo and puts it in a cheesecloth, and then soaks it in the water. And then you take the cheesecloth out and you just pour the water on your plants. She uses that on her house plants.
That's exactly. It's amazing the little things you could do inside and make it so much easier. So me and my shadow asked a question: is there a difference between potash depending on what wood is burnt?
No, potash is potash. It's like I call it the concrete block. It's a concrete block of the plant. So it's the building thing of the building of the plant. So any potash you have and you burn it, you're going to have potash out. It comes out of it. It's a mineral you're going to get back from the burnt material.
So Butler asks, he said, I use grass clippings and add a few things for weed tea. Now, what's interesting about some weed teas, they're powerful. Weed tea is not bad.
Here.
Oh, we're not. I don't want to see mosquitoes. It's too early.
It's too early. Right here right in front of my camera. Got it.
Boom.
Man, I cannot believe it. I think I got it now. Yep, I got him.
Yeah, you got him all right.
Yeah, that's almost terrible already. Mosquitoes. It's all the rain we've had and puddles all over the place.
In New Jersey, I don't want to hear drought this right now because we have had so much rain, torrential rain, not just rain, torrential rain.
And all the water that sits around in puddles, you'll have mosquitoes coming out of it.
So Gary says, I use grass clippings and add a few things for weed tea. Any comments on weed tea?
It's the same as any other fertilizer tea. Unless you take and test it, you're not going to know exactly what you're getting out of it in fertilizer type. One of the things they do around here, I've not done it, but they'll do cover crops in the wintertime where they'll plant, I don't know, like barley. They'll or rye. They'll plant rye, and then they turn it under and make a green fertilizer out of it. So they'll turn it up and turn that rye under the ground, and it makes a fertilizer base for the plant they're putting in, which usually is corn right after that.
So Rick is I love Rick from Australia.
I know one thing I need to talk about. Their plants, people have to realize there's two different types of plants. You have a grass plant, or you have a man, dang it, a legume. Thank you, a legume. So legumes are anything that has two collagens, which is it comes out and has two leaves on it. That's a legume. And a lot of legumes will actually produce their own nitrogen in the ground. They have nitrogen modules on them, like clover, your beans, soybeans, all those type of things produce nitrogen, and they actually put nitrogen in the ground. That's why a lot of crop farmers, like when I was doing it, we would rotate our crops. We put in, corn, and then put beans in, and then we put wheat in. The beans will produce nitrogen. They put it in the ground, so it's there in the ground for the next crop. So you cut down on the commercial fertilizer as much. But a lot of people don't realize that, like corn. Corn is a grass. It actually comes. It grows from a center stalk, grows up one leaf, and it spreads. It turns out like curls leaves come out of it. So, sorry. you either got a grass plant growing, or you got a legume growing. Tomatoes are actually considered like a grass seed. They come out in the middle, they branch out, and they have, they keep growing on a main stalk, and they keep producing that way. So if you're planting beans, you don't need fertilizer. You don't need, I say fertilizer. You don't need nitrogen, because beans produce their own nitrogen. And all you do is, by putting nitrogen on them, is making that plant weaker, because it doesn't need to build its own nitrogen and make its own stock stronger. Excuse me.
Mhm.
I haven't done this much talking in my life.
It's all good. We all need a drink.
My wife talks a lot. Like the Vineyard Chicks is doing that survival seed 2024.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to plant our beets next to our beans, because then the beets are going to get the nitrogen from the beans, and we won't have to fertilize as much.
That's exactly. So Serena had a question. I want to both of us, and because you could do it that
Beltloop's
way.
got one also. No, they take nitrogen out of they take nitrogen out of the air, Beltloop, and they put it in a nodule in the ground.
Yep.
And what was the other question?
Well, Serena goes, she's activated biochar by putting compost in a house stocking and so she's putting it in a bucket, letting the compost steep in the water with biochar. Do you do this? I do not do that, but I don't know.
Not either.
And I don't think the effects of it are really good, but you could do that way. I think more studies have to be made, Serena, on that, just to let you know. But yeah, you definitely do, and there is some benefits. But what kind of benefits? I'm not really sure. I don't know how far the benefits go. There's still 105 people in the chat. Thank you, guys.
That's good.
Awesome. So Doris says, we have chickens. What helps take down the nitrogen, ash, or just time?
You just have nitrogen on the chickens. You just have time. You just have to let it age. The best thing is you can age it under a roof so water doesn't leach out all your minerals. A lot of people they stock chickens at chicken manure outside. It will wash out all your nutrients out of it, and all you have left is just fluff. So I would, if you could put it under a roof someplace, or don't recommend put a tarp on it, but I mean under a roof where the air can circulate through it, and in time, then the nitrogen levels will go down in it.
So just to let you know, there's AJ's Green Topics. He'll be on Grow Big TV this week. And I hope you guys can be there, because it's going to be another awesome live. Worms, words instead of seeds. So
everybody love worms. Worms are great for underneath the rabbits.
That's going to be a great live with AJ's Green Topics. Okay. Let's see what other questions. There was a couple that popped up before, I thought. Oh, that's right. It's nice to have Jersey people in the chat. It's been raining buckets in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And the wind. Not used to seeing that wind. Thank you for all the mods, and thank you guys for everyone helping each other out here. It's all about community and helping each other. The we stuff has to go, and it's about we. I mean, not the I stuff has to go, and more of the we. So that's important. To think there's any I when there's 2 million YouTube channels out there. It's pretty crazy. It has
I got a question for everybody. Just to see if anybody knows the answer, as what's the definition of a weed, and don't look it up on Google. Anybody know what the definition of a weed is?
I don't know. A lot of the weeds they're actually they're more beneficial than regular vegetables.
Well, a tomato plant can be a weed.
Hmm.
That's right. Velda's got it. A plant that isn't planted where you want it.
There you go.
That's a weed. And that really is. A lot of people go, oh, I got weeds, and you go over this. That's not weeds. That's grass. It's just not. You don't want it there. It's so a lot of people don't realize that. It's some weeds are good. It's just not where you may want it.
So I'm going to show everybody a joke by Serena, because Serena, one joke alive by Serena. So let me just find it first.
Okay.
I don't mind a joke here and there. A joke's always good, but too many of them I can't follow. But one joke alive is always good.
She said she had one about fertilizer.
Okay, I'm just looking for it. Sorry about that, guys. I just can't look at multiple jokes. One joke's good. There's too much stuff that has to go on during a live besides looking at jokes. Oh, Serena, I can't find it. I tried, Serena. Okay.
She'll have to post it again.
Oh, there's a blizzard. Day 2 of a blizzard in Canada. Now, where you live, Jerry, you've been weather conditions. What? Talk about weather conditions and what happens with fertilizer. What do you need to do to your plants if you have a huge storm?
I'm in Missouri here. The farmers right now that planted wheat is taken out because it's gotten warm enough. They've taken urea and put urea on their wheat to make their wheat grow. So they get a good stand of wheat, because a lot of them will take the heads off, make seed out of it, but then they take the straw and make straw bales out of it, and they'll sell the straw bales also, or they use the straw and turn it back into the ground for fertilizers for the next plant. But here in Missouri, we have all 4 seasons, and I've lived here I'm going my 18th year now. We've owned the property for 20 years, and I bought the property 2 years before I moved here. But every Easter, we have a freeze. Every Easter, we have free. Sometimes it can be a bad freeze. We've had snow, 24 inches of snow in May here. In one day. That was 24 inches in one day. So, Susan and I, when we used to plant the soybeans, the corn, we didn't plant anything to April 15th. Tax day was the day we started planting, because we knew we were past the freezing part, and because we could afford to buy the seed again, because like a bag of corn seeds, $300 and some odd dollars. And so there's no way we could buy, if I planted 20 acres or something like that, there's no way I could replace those bags, because you get like 80,000 plants in an acre, and if the bag may have like 132,000 in it, so it's cost you almost a whole bag an acre. So if you're planting 20 acres at $300, it just and you got to replant it, it's not cost effective. And I never bought crop insurance because it was just too expensive for me to do. So we just thought, we just won't plant until April 15th. The fertilizer, there doesn't really, the potash and the phosphorus, you can put it out anytime because it doesn't go anywhere. You're going to put it out in the wintertime, it'll sit there, it'll dissolve with every rain you get or snow, it'll dissolve and it'll sink into the ground. So it's ready for when the grass starts to grow, or wherever you plant and start to grow, it's ready, available for the plants to use. Nitrogen, it is one of those, and I say nitrogen, I should say urea, because that's what most of these people are going to use. Urea is a very finicky subject thing. It doesn't want to be put out there on the ground if it's below 60. And it gets to be in the 80s and 90s, it volatilizes off into the air. And if you should always try to put it on right before rain, because the rain will help wash it into the ground. and so it stays there. It doesn't volatilize off into the air as as a gas from the heat. So, and I've actually seen this. You can take a cup of nitrogen or urea and set it outside, and it will literally dissolve in the heat and disappear and dissipates up in the air. What's left on there, there's still, remember, it's nitrogen, urea is 46%. So the 54% that's left there is not nitrogen. It's just like a little rock or something. I'm not sure what they use, shell or rock or whatever, to for the nitrogen to adhere to when they drop then they drop it into this tower when they make it.
So Doris Artman says, any plants you don't want in your yard or
That's
your
right.
garden or farm.
That's right.
So
it's
what?
true.
No, but what plant you don't want? Like if you grew mint and all of a sudden it spread all over the place, and all of a sudden you can't, like, name some plants that you don't want to put in the ground, for example.
Here you don't want to put in the Johnson grass. It grows from a tuber, and one thing about Johnson grass, if you grow from a tuber and you disc your ground, you cut the tuber up, you're causing little pieces to grow everywhere. It also grows from seed. So if Johnson grass goes up and has a seed hit come on it, it spreads the seeds out. The next year you got more Johnson grass. So that's a very invasive plant. Another one here is thistle. Thistles are invasive also, and they are thorny, and nothing wants to eat them. Nothing normally wants to eat it. I used to have a llama that would eat thistle. He would go around, find the thistle, and he'd eat every leaf off it, eat the flower off it, and you just have this stick standing there. And you go, what the heck is that out there? And you find out he's eating the thistle. Some donkeys will eat thistle, but it's got a lot of thorns on it. So I don't know how he did it, how the donkeys do it, but every once in a while you'll find a donkey that will eat thistle. Those are the main ones I fight with all the time, is the Johnson grass and the thistle. And Susan and I will go out when the thistle starts to grow. And the thistle's a 2-year plant. The first year it grows, it's just a rosette on the ground. You don't see it unless you walk up and happen to look down and see it there. It just grows flat on the ground. Grass grows above it, and you don't even see it. If you've got, like, right now is a good time to start walking around looking for thistle rosettes. We see them, we kick them out of the ground, especially if it's been after rain. We'll kick them out of the ground and then just let them lie. The second year is where it actually grows a tall stem, and you get a flower on top. So around here, we start looking probably about middle of May. End of May, we'll go around, we'll go out the fields, and we'll look around out there for thistles to grow. We'll go out there and actually dig them up. So that's how we get rid of our thistles.
That's interesting. Andale goes, any suggestions for fertilizer for root crops? Beets, carrots, onions.
Those, I'd be sure to have potash. And phosphorus, and potash and phosphorus. The phosphorus is good for root plants. It produces, like, it helps for roots, and so your carrots and your onions. Onions are, I don't know. Onions are root plant, I guess, but it's kind of, I'm not sure about that on the onion part. What does she say on beets, carrots, and carrots and beets both are they can use the nitrogen and the phosphorus. So the beets have greens. If you want to take the beet greens or the carrot greens, you'll get a lot of that for the nitrogen. But phosphorus is the main thing for it to grow, because phosphorus helps the roots.
So in New Jersey, in South Jersey, it's snowing right now.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy. And it's supposed to be 75 degrees on Wednesday.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 75 almost all week here this next week.
And Doris can't plant until June 2nd. But you could probably plant some spring vegetables earlier than that.
Yeah, probably. So it seems like where I don't know where she's at, but it must be cool there.
Let's see what Wanda said. Tomatoes can never be a weed for me. I'll grow it wherever it comes up.
I agree.
Totally. Barry Phelan goes, if I have a small indoor garden, is there any fertilizer I should? So indoor gardening, what fertilizer should she not use?
That's a good thing. I don't indoor garden much. We have a hydroponics, and we use a chemical, a 2-part chemical that came with a hydroponics. Wouldn't you want to use I wouldn't use cow manure indoors.
That could be a crappy situation.
It can be smelly. So I mean, you want to use fertilizers that doesn't have a scent to it. So unfortunately, cow manure has a good scent to it. I've stepped in it plenty of times, and I know I've walked in the house and I go, "What is that smell?" And my wife looks at me, she says, "It's your boots." Oh, that's sorry. So now, rabbits, you can be able to use rabbit fertilizer inside, llama fertilizer inside. There's no smell to that. I say goat fertilizer, but the problem with goats is they don't go in one spot. They go wherever they're walking. Llamas, people may not know that, but llamas will actually pick a spot in the yard and they do all their business in that spot. They'll walk wherever they're at to that spot to do their business.
Now, guys, just to let you guys know, too, if you're using fertilizer inside, say you're starting your vegetables and stuff like that, they could get mildew on top. It's just the natural process when you start with, say, for example, for organic fertilizers. You start them inside, you got a very humid place, you might get some white mildew on top. So I would recommend a liquid fertilizer, not graduated.
And Dale says don't use 511 fish fertilizer inside. It must have a strong smell.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
It's you can do it. You can use it if you don't mind the smell.
Yeah, the smell really could get to some people, that's for sure. Dogwood has taken huge areas of my land in my yard, hard to get it pulled out. Yeah, that's a fact.
And I was going to touch on organic fertilizer. I'm gone organic. Well, I'm going to just tell you something. Organic is a word that costs you $5 extra. So, I mean, if you really got into it, really got into it and researched things. If you went 100% organic, where you use no fertilizers and no sprays to kill mildew or to kill other weeds or let's see, mildew and weeds. If you would go do the research on it, you wouldn't have anything in your garden. You couldn't, because everything would take over. Unfortunately, your garden plants are very, very susceptible to things. They're very, very, I don't want to say weak because it's not really weak, but they can die easily from other plants putting out toxins. I come to find out just recently that, and I should have known this. I don't know why I didn't know it, but black walnut trees, their leaves put out a toxin that keeps things from growing. And pepper trees. I have pepper trees in San Diego where we lived, and we were trying to grow things around the pepper trees, and the grass wouldn't grow. I couldn't figure out why the grass wouldn't grow. So I started doing research on it, going to find out the pepper trees, the little peppers they have would drop on the ground, and the leaves would drop all the leaves on the ground, and they have an acid in it that actually neutralizes the ground. So the pepper tree doesn't have any competitiveness from other plants for its water. So you should really, research everything. Be really careful to be sure that you're looking at what you have, where you're growing things. Some things will hurt other things, but organically is To really come down to it, organic is a thing that's, to me, it's just a word to be able to charge you more money. Because if you went back and really researched how did they never use fertilizer, commercial fertilizer. They never used any kind of spray. They never used anything that was not natural in the area, and not in just their area, but miles around them, because stuff floats in the air. So yeah, I Susan buys things and they say organic, and we look at each other and go, yeah, sure it is. It's just a way for them to charge you an extra $2 a pound or $4 a pound or whatever it is.
What are your thoughts of the mitt leader gardening method?
The what?
Mitt leader, Mittleader, Mittleader. I forgot. I haven't followed it in about over 8 years or something like that. Did you ever hear of that method? You can
Nope.
grow food in sawdust. It's all about adding your NPK, and you could.
Well, yeah.
You don't
I mean,
need to.
you could do that. You could do it in sawdust. You can do it. I mean, organically. I mean, hydroponically, you're growing it right in water.
Mhm.
It's the chemicals that you put in there, your fertilizer you put in there, that actually sustains the plant. It's nothing. I mean, hydroponically, all your nutrients are right there in the water. The plant grows down in the water and gets its nutrients from it. The ground, you plant the ground, the roots go down the ground, and it's getting their nutrients. That's what's making the plant grow. We do lettuce hydroponically because I like salad. And here in Missouri, right now, a head of lettuce is $2.49 for a head of iceberg lettuce. And we're thinking, like, you've got to be kidding me. It's that high for a head of lettuce, where so we just grow our own lettuce in winter, especially in the wintertime, so I can go over and clip off some leaves and make a salad.
So in Pennsylvania, it's been snowing there all day where Melanie's at. So Serena asked a question with garlic. Should you fertilize garlic off, and how much, how, and what kind?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I've not been successful with garlic. So I think I planted the wrong time of year or something. It's supposed to grow in the wintertime, and it ends up freezing out here in the wintertime, because I've been trying to grow it above raised beds. I can go out in my field and pick wild garlic and wild onions. I've got wild onions and wild garlic growing all over the fields out there. I can go out there and pick it, actually pull right out of the ground. Hey, Nora.
It's good to see Nora. Nora's awesome.
Yep.
One of the best supporters I ever had on YouTube. Constantly showcasing her channels, and
she's very good.
Very proactive. She's the best.
She always shouts out my channel and puts in and shares out on her channel. She's a good people.
On Grow Big TV, we did a growing guide on garlic. So if you guys want to check that out, go check that out. Jennifer Lilly, or organic, only has to meet requirements for I guess growing at home. Now how it's harvested. I guess I'm reading that totally wrong.
Yeah, it's a labeling system. Yeah, it's I mean, for instance, we have farms right here that have chicken eggs, and they call them there's organic chicken eggs. They're organically grown, and I've been on those farms, and I've seen them spray it around the chickens and stuff, and it's not really organic if you're using any kind of spraying for bugs or weeds or whatever. That's not organic as far as I'm concerned. Like I said, everybody should research their own things, and don't take anything I've said for gospel, because I just learned this. Most of my stuff I've learned was for the college, and I've added stuff from what I've learned, and I know it's worked for us in this area.
Dora says, if we burn the walnut tree leaves, would it be toxic to the plant? I don't know. I don't think so.
I know I've cut down lots of limbs off the walnut trees and burned them, and the grass still grows. So I would say no.
So I'm going to go back to the. Well, it's already 8:56, guys. I got to make this quick. This is quick. Jerry, you mind staying a little after 9?
That's
A little
fine.
bit
As
longer?
long as you need.
Okay. We're going to do the StreamYard generator again. So let me see here. Let me set this up. So we're going to put hashtag Susan. Hashtag Susan. So we're going to show it again. Hashtag Susan.
I should have her come in here for a second.
Sounds good.
Hey, babe, you busy? Susan? Oh,
Thank you, everyone.
Went out checked on her chickens yet.
That's it, guys. Everything's starting to flow on in. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Joe.
Oh,
Check out Grow Big TV, guys, Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m.
There she is, Joe.
hi, Joe.
Hi, Susan. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yourself?
Doing pretty good.
Good.
So, how did you guys meet?
We met I worked with the wife of his boss from the grocery store, and they were on a bowling team, and she talked me into coming down to the bowling alley, and so that's how we met.
So
We
the
did.
first time Jerry saw you when he was bowling, did he throw the
Yeah.
ball right to the gutter, or did he hit a strike?
No.
Well, no, not quite, but he did come back upset once off after his turn, and I said, it's just a game, and he says, oh boy.
Yeah, I almost didn't want to date her because of that.
'Cause he's a very competitive person
Yeah, very competitive.
at that time, not so much now.
I've chilled out over the
Yeah,
years.
but yeah. So anyway, so we dated for a while, and then I got the proposal, and we got married, and here we are. Well,
So how
we've
did
been together
Jerry propose to you?
By accident.
by accident.
It's true. To be honest, it just slipped out one time, and I went like, "Oh crap!"
I said, yeah, sure, yeah. So
So I was stuck. I put it out there, and she grabbed it before I could pull it back. So
And what made you guys leave San Diego? And is it true that some cars don't have windshield wipers?
I don't know. I don't know.
I haven't heard of that.
I don't know. They get 3 inches of rain every year. Three to 9 inches of rain. I know you have to change your wipers more often out there because they dry rot.
Yeah, that's true. We had actually, it was Jerry's friend, but became, my friends too. He's originally from Neosho, Missouri, and he had family back here, and they decided he had retired, and he decided that they were going to move back here. So they did, and then we came out and visited several times, Jerry more than I did. And we just started looking at numbers and thinking about, we got about another 10 years to work. Do we want to retire in San Diego? What are we going to do? Blah, blah, blah. And so it just kind of evolved that we figured this was the best place to retire. Plus, we had friends here, and he has a sister that lives over near on the other side of St. Louis in Illinois that he hadn't seen, very much of. So we kind of had some family. And then my family lives still in California, and he promised me that I could go back once a year to see my mom and my sisters. And so I do that and combine it with a quilt retreat. So I do a double duty.
She goes to California almost twice a year.
Well, no, it's just once. I'm going twice this year. Twice this year.
Yeah, that's twice this year.
My mom's 94 this year, and we had kind of a health scare last fall. And, she's doing okay. She's doing really good, but you never know. And so, so I'm going back twice this year, once for her surprise birthday and then once for a retreat.
And how often do you do crafts or crocheting? And what's your favorite thing to make?
Well, I can, if I have the right pattern, I can knit and watch TV and not, miss a stitch. And I can knit in the car. Crocheting, I do that too. I can't do that and watch TV, but I still do that in the evenings a lot. And then I don't sew at night. So if I'm going to sew, it's going to be during the day.
She has a dedicated sew day.
And I do go to a friend's house to sew with her. She helped me finish a quilt that I made for Jerry's sister in Washington. And we just decided just to keep, sewing together once or twice a month. And so I go over there and do that. That's fun.
That's some of my best memories from my grandmother. So guess I would come home. She would sit there. We watched the Met game, and she would crochet.
Yeah.
And after a while, I'd just be doing the same kind of thing when I was little.
Well, my oldest son had a couple health issues at different times after he moved here, and I taught him how to crochet. And he actually made did he crochet or knit?
Yeah, he's knitting.
He knit. He knitted. He actually did a diagonal type design 2 different times because he couldn't, he was unable to work, so he had to stay busy. So, my daughter knows how to sew a button on now. She learned that on her own, but she's not a quilter. But she is the keeper of the quilts. She wants to know what's happening to where they're going, and she's tracking my mother's quilts and making sure that they're not just going just any place. They have to stay within the family is what she says. So
Susan's got so many quilt tops, it's ridiculous. I mean, if she had them all finished, that means the binding and the batting and all that stuff finished, every house would have 3 quilts on it. Every bed would have 3 quilts on it around here. She's got totes that are just full of tops.
Yeah. Well, you have to find the right quilter who can do a really good job, and that you trust them to, do the finishing part. If you don't long arm quilt yourself, but it could be anywhere from is it a penny, 0.01, penny, a square inch, up to 2 cents a square inch. So if you got a big quilt and you do this, like the one I just did for Jerry's sister was 96 by 96, and I paid a penny an inch. It was 100 plus the batting. It was $116 just to quilt it. That's not counting, all your fabric and stuff, but you have
your time.
But you have to work it into your budget, on the long quilting. So I just kind of look at the tops every once in a while and say, yeah, I got to get these done. So
if somebody comes up and for some reason somebody needs one or something like that, she goes out there and goes, "Oh, I can give this one, or I can give this one." I go. Yeah. Then she brings them to the house and she said, "Which one do you think I should give them?" I said, I'll say something like, "Give them all 3 to get them out of here."
Did you ever think about making stuff and selling it on Jerry's page?
No.
Too much, right?
Doing this quilt for his sister, she paid me to do it. But even with that, I don't want the pressure. And I read somebody said, I won't make a quilt to be paid for, but you tell me your favorite colors. And then that person got a quilt in those colors. She made it and gave it to him. She just wanted to. But to have to make it, when you're being paid, you're kind of like on a timeline. You want to get it done. They're waiting for it. They've got a purpose for it, whatever. Then that was a lot of pressure for me. And I almost stopped in the middle of it because I couldn't handle the pressure. I just, Jerry said, "Oh, I just suck it up." So that's why I asked one of my friends in my guild to help me do it. And I go over to her house and we were able to get it done, but I'm not going to do it to sell again. I can't. Yeah. I'd rather give it away. To me, I'd just give it away.
Well, that was pretty cool. I like how I tell you what, this interview could go on for another hour easily.
I know.
Juby 2407. Where are you located? She said that baby quilt was $150 for a baby quilt. It all depends on where you're located. We're here in Missouri. It's a little bit less expensive to have somebody do something like that.
Well, this quilt that I did for his sister, and I kept it to a minimum for everything, just to do it. But it was $650 for the material, my time. She wanted me to charge her for everything, so I did. and the quilting, shipping, and all that kind of stuff.
But
So it gets
Your
expensive.
time wasn't that. How much?
Yeah, I did.
How much
I got enough to pay for my sewing machine to get fixed.
Yep. Okay. So she didn't make $1 an hour.
No, I
So,
didn't. Yeah.
and even on what she was doing, she wasn't even making $1 an hour. So if you were trying to buy a quilt, if you go to the stores right here and look at buying quilts, they're like, 800 to 1,000 or more.
Yeah, they can be. Yeah. And fabric's not cheap anymore
Nope.
either. I mean, it's like my little local quilt store, I think she charges $12 a yard, and to make a big quilt, it takes quite a bit of yardage. So you gotta, be ready, was it when I first started quilting, the quilt store, I took a lesson or two with my mother. They said, the first thing they said, well, if you really get into this, be sure you're ready to sign over a paycheck once a month to buy all your fabric and everything that you need to do this. So it can get up there, but I enjoy it. And if you do it within a group like a guild or whatever, it's a lot of fun.
And that's how she got it so cheaply. She had a guild member who owns a long arm quilting machine.
That's your business.
That's what she does for business. And so and that's why it was like, it was only a penny a square inch.
Yeah. But it's a good experience. I've been to retreats and a couple good, I've been to that sister show in Oregon. That was really a thrill.
Wow.
But the thing about it though is my mother and my two sisters quilted, so we have this connection. And one day, one of these days, my mom's not going to be here, so we wanted to have this connection. So we all crochet or knit as well, so we can talk about those kinds of things. Huh?
From this way.
Oh, and quilting. So we have that thread to keep us together, to have that connection, when my mom's not going to be here. So that was a plan that we had.
Keep on carrying it on and carrying it on. It's good.
Susan and I said when we got married that we wanted to do something when we were older. We didn't want to sit like in San Diego. That's why we moved here and started farming. We figured if you're always doing something, you're busy, you stay younger that way.
Yeah.
And that's our beliefs. And when we moved here originally, my mom and dad, both of them have passed now, but my mom and dad, actually my mom, said that I was too old to farm. I was too old to become a farmer. I was too old to go back to school. And I'm one of those people, you tell me I can't do something,
You're going to do it.
I'm going to do it just to spite you.
Thanks, Bill Luke.
So I've always been that way. So I've had people tell me, "Yo, you can't do this," and I'm like, "Watch me."
There he is.
And I do it.
Doing it. Doing it. So we had great examples with my grandparents. They were always doing something and going places and the whole thing. And my mom as well. So we just, we do things slower now. Takes maybe more time, or we spread it out over a couple of days. But that's how we're doing it.
Yeah, that is the most. Got to stay active. My neighbor lived to 104, and his wife lived to 97.
Wow.
And they said, "How do you live so long?" He goes, "Shadow boxing and knee bends, and just constantly moving and stretching."
Yep,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
It's important to have.
I'm not worried about you, Belt Loop. Flirting with you. You're okay, Gary.
Shoot.
You shaved your mustache off. She likes guys with mustache. Sorry, buddy.
I got to stand up with my knees. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, let's give it away, Joe. Let's spin the wheel.
Okay, so we got seeds first, then we got to go back to the interview, then we got to ask the last of the questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of stuff to keep on going here. So, all right. Nice to talk to you, Susan. Okay. Okay, here we go. So we're sharing it. So there were 64 people that entered. You can still enter it if you want. Let's give these away. This is 10 packs of seed. Seeds to 10 winners. So the first winner. So we're giving away 20 packs of seeds today and other stuff. Doris Artman. Congratulations to Doris.
And I'll be right back, Joe.
Okay, you got it. Second winner. Jane Doe. Congratulations to Jane Doe. Next one. Who's going to be the next one? Happy Mac. Congratulations to Happy Mac. Next winner, fourth winner of this segment. Mike's Chaotic Gardening. Congratulations, Mike. Next winner is the Wickershire Project. Congratulations, Billy. Next winner, Dawn and Holla. Congratulations, Dawn and Holla. Having fun. Got some multiple winners today. Molly from Pest Hunters Best. Congratulations to Molly. Next winner is Built on a Rock Homestead. Congratulations to Built on a Rock Homestead. Next winner is Adventure of the Mama. Congratulations to Tina. The last winner here for this segment, Don't You Know?
That's the last one?
That was the last one for this
Congratulations,
segment.
winners.
So congratulations to those 10 winners. Whoop, whoop. So that was pretty awesome. Okay, let me get back to some of my last questions. Let me see if there's anything else they asked here in the live. So I can't believe how fast this went. Well, it went fast for me, that's for sure.
Well, I'm sure I'm forgetting something in fertilizers. And, if anybody has any questions they may think of later, they can always email it to me on my channel. I have my email address on there. You can send me an email and ask me a question. I'll be more than happy to answer it, because I've been retired now for 2 years, and I still have customers that I had call me and ask me, what should I do about this? What should I do about that? And I still try to help them.
So when should you fertilize your plants?
I put potash and phosphorus on in the fall, and I put in the nitrogen in April, if on the grass, if I'm going to do nitrogen. I don't always do nitrogen.
Are higher NPK amounts better?
You don't want to go too high, because then what you end up doing is you start locking up the nutrients. And I forgot most of the things. That's why I always say do soil samples, because if you got too much potash on there, and it locks up the nutrients from the phosphorus, so it has too much to lock it up, and vice versa. There's way more information about it that I have to actually have my book to tell you that, but you just don't want to put on too much, because the ground's going to, it's not like it's going to go anywhere, but what happens is you have too much of one, it locks up others, and then you can't get the beneficents from either one that way. That's why it balances that's why what a soil sample does. It gives you that balance. It tells you what you need to fix it and make it balanced. It all works on each other.
Can fertilizer kill plants?
You asked me that once before. That, yes, too much of it will burn your plant off.
How do you know if your plants need fertilizer?
You won't get any growth out of it. It'll be light yellow color. If it's supposed to be a luscious green plant and it's yellowish looking, then you're probably missing nitrogen in the soil, or if it's got red streaks on the plant, that could be two things. That could be potash missing and or sulfur missing.
So I'm trying to go ask questions for the beginning gardener all the way
Okay.
down to the bottom, all the way up. So that's what I've been trying to direct these questions to help people grow.
Well, like I said, I recommend everybody gets if you're doing something in the ground, not necessarily if you're using potting soil mix from the store, but if you're planting in the ground, you really should get a soil sample to see what your soil has. That's the biggest key I could tell everybody. Get a soil sample, understand what your dirt has on it, then you can understand what you need to put in it to make it better soil.
How do you fertilize your plants?
I use a spreader, a fertilizer spreader, and of course I do field. So I used to use a truck. Now I use a buggy to fertilize my hay fields and stuff. If I'm doing the garden, I have this little hand thing. It holds like 4 or 5 pounds of fertilizer, and I turn it and spread it out with that. So because you don't want to get concentration of it in one spot.
And yeah, talk about the location where you should fertilize on your say your bed or whatever you want to say.
You should spread it evenly across the bed. And so so all the plants have access to it because the roots are going to go out and seek that nutrient that it needs.
How long does fertilizer last in the soil?
Nitrogen will last. If it gets rain on it, it gets on the ground, it gets rain on it, or you dig a hole, and bury it, it will last a couple of weeks till it volatilizes all off and it's gone. It's done its job. Your potash and your phosphorus will stay there until the plants need it. It never goes away until plants will actually absorb it and use it up, and that's how it goes away.
When you're seed starting, when should you start to fertilize and how much?
When you seed starting, that's if you're doing it indoors and you're using like those little pods, it usually comes with fertilizer on it, and once you take them outside, then it's on whatever the ground's already going to have. I wouldn't, starting off seeds, you don't want too much nitrogen because you're just going to kill it.
Yep, exactly. Start small. Anytime you guys start fertilizer too, just make sure
do some research, do some reading, do some I wouldn't say do YouTube stuff because I'm not trying to put anybody down, but so people will tell you stuff that it's worked for them, but it might not work for your area. So you need to do some research in your area, and you always have the USDA is their offices are there to help you, and if you have any questions, you can ask them. They're there to help you if they can. If they explain to them what you want. Excuse me.
Any other questions in the chat? Make sure they're all in caps because we're almost getting done here, guys. Because I don't want to have Jerry here for 3 hours.
Yeah, because Susan cooked a roast, and I hear her dishing it up. So I want to get some of that roast.
Okay, so I don't see any other.
And that roast is for one of the cows that we raised.
Oh wow, that's awesome! I love that. Oh, it has to be. Now, is there a big difference from store bought and meat that you just got on the farm?
I think there is. My cows have no hormones put in whatsoever.
Serena, that's the 3 things. That's my members of my club for our Garden State Gardeners. So we have 3 club levels, which I described before, and they all have their benefits. So that's just
You're
club
welcome
membership.
on Milk Moses. So our beef, we raised our cow up, then I raised a whole steer up this year, or raised it for the last 2 years. He was just over 2 years old, 1,100 pounds. I had it butchered, and I split it with Jesse from Lazy Days Ahead. I sold him. I didn't sell him. I gave him half a steer because he's done things for me, but he had to pay the processing fee. So, and then I drove down to see him. We met in the middle. Actually ended up in Oklahoma, where I gave him his half of the steer, And I don't know if he's even eaten any of it yet, because he went to, right after he got it, he went up to Oregon, and I don't know if he says he's about back if they've had any beef yet or not. But my beef is grass raised, and then I finished it the last 60 days with corn. Give them the fat content on them, but there is a taste difference from cows that are standing in a feedlot eating feed that's given to them, and cows that are raised on grass. But
Okay,
one thing about mine is I know there's no hormones in them.
Yeah, that's the most important thing.
Yeah. I mean,
it's crazy.
I know this. I sell cows to the stockyards, and I didn't know this until this recently. That I was told once they hit the stockyard, as soon as they drop off of the trailer, they're injecting their ears with their hormone, a growth hormone on them, and I didn't even know that. I mean, I've never gone there. Just they pick them up and take them, and so I've never gone up there and actually watched them go through. But I was told that they actually inject their ear with a growth hormone to help them start growing as soon as they hit the stockyard.
Wow. It's really scary what's happening to our food supply. Everything.
Well, I can understand it because we're feeding so many people. What I don't understand is that why the price of beef is so high when I make $2.50 maybe per pound on a steer or a cow or calf. I get between 150 and maybe 264 a pound, and it all depends on who's buying it, what they're buying it for. But you go to the store and you see that steaks are $15 a pound and hamburgers $5 a pound, and if I would recommend if you know a farmer who's got cows and he's sells them, go buy right from the farmer.
It's just it's obscene. I mean, I'm just like shaking my head with everything.
Farmers for years have been price takers, not price setters. No matter what you raise cattle, chickens, goats, anything you sell, you get what they give you. You don't say I want X amount. The stockyards sell them on auctions, and whatever the price they give you is what you take. Corn's the same way. You sell your corns. You don't say I want $20 a bushel. You get whatever the market is bringing at that time, and your choice is either sell it or don't sell it and hang on to it until it's certainly you have to sell it because you have to make money to start the next year.
So like with the purple tomato with GMOs, the coating they put on a GMO seed, if a bee touched it, they will automatically die. So here we got petunias being grown from GMOs. That's going to be sold to the USA soon, which is crazy. And they got the purple tomato. Just think of that. Bee comes to the plant, dead. Why would you want GMOs in your garden?
GMOs are bad though, Joe. I mean, GMOs get a bad rap on some of this stuff. Some of the GMOs has actually helped, like corn. There's a cutthroat beetle or worm that gets on corn and just cuts the bottom of the corn stalk, and they've made some GMOs that corn can withstand that. So, I mean, I'm not a person that's against GMOs, but I'm not 100% for them either. There's some good ones and some bad ones, and if it makes the plant survive, so the food can be put out there for the people, then to me it's beneficial. If it's killing bees are beneficial to everybody. Without bees, we have no food.
Right.
And so so I'm kind of like caught in between the two of them there. I don't want to bash GMOs, but I don't want to promote the bad GMOs.
So I've been talking to this guy because I have these post interviews and stuff. Well, he's banned from talking to the government. I mean, he's banned for talking about certain things from the government, that there's a way to grow all this stuff without any kind of problems, but he's banned to talk about it. Totally banned. which is,
I don't doubt that.
and that is so obscene because it has to deal with the microbes and stuff in the ground and biochar and everything linked up to one. And if you link all those together, you won't have those problems. So, but with the purple tomato, it was very interesting having an interview with somebody that knows exactly what the GMOs, what with the purple tomato per se.
Right.
It just blows my mind. Just from that to everything else that's going on. Now, if you grew a purple tomato inside hydroponically, I don't have a problem with it. I really don't.
Right.
Because you're not killing anything. But anyway, that's another discussion. Well, Jerry, thank you so much for coming on. Everybody in the chat, I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. From both of our chat, we've been having over 100, 115 people in this chat for most of the part for the last 2.5 hours. And Jerry, that was very beneficial for everybody. Everybody loved it in the chat. And we hope to have you on soon. And,
well, I'm glad I could clear up some information about fertilizers.
We all got to grow our own food. You're not going to get it in this. Things are changing out there, and things could change a lot faster right now. The way the world is going, so
everybody's welcome. You can email me if you want, and if you're not a member of my channel, if you become a member, that's be great also. But you don't have to. You can watch my my videos, and my videos are basically what we do on the farm and what we do off the farm too. But I do woodworking work, and my son does iron working, and so we show everything on the farm. Like you said earlier, we show the pretty, the ugly, the good, and the bad. Unfortunately, sometimes the bad is bad, but
I don't think I even said hi to my Renaissance grandma. I love my Renaissance grandma. She's has a great resource of information, great knowledge, always there supporting. I love that stuff. So, Jared, just stay on for a second before I say bye. So, okay. Take care, everybody. I hope to see you on Tuesday and Thursday on Grow Big TV. We have AJ's Green Topics and Food Forest Permaculture this week. So, I'll see you guys at 8 o'clock, 8 to 10 o'clock. Take care, everyone. And thank you. Thank you, everyone.